Here to talk more about this case is former prosecutor and author of Hellgate, Linda Fairstein. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Maggie.
How important do you think this confession is?
I think the confession is important. It's helpful in any case, but so unlike the Holloway case, there's so much direct physical evidence in this case. It happened in his room as opposed to a case where a body was never found and was outside. He's seen going into the room with Flores. He comes out alone. So for a prosecutor, for a police investigator, a lot of good physical evidence. I think a confession, if true, is icing on the cake.
So if he tries to take it back, as he's done in the Holloway case, and maybe say that he was forced to do it under duress, it doesn't matter that much.
I would not be particularly concerned about the recantation if it occurred.
Reportedly during this confession, he said that he was upset because she found incriminating information about his involvement in the Holloway case. I'm sure that this opens doors for authorities in Aruba to finally go after him for that.
Yes, I think these are wide open doors, and in so many ways, whatever information they originally had about that case that caused them to arrest him, let him go, rearrest him, you have other things. There were young men originally picked up who had perhaps been accomplices in disposing of the body, and he was a threat at the time to them. He was more powerful, he was richer, he was from a more established family.
Right.
And so one would hope as a prosecutor you would go after now these guys to see he's behind bars. Maybe they're going to come back with a story now and cooperate. So many things can happen to change and perhaps improve the dynamic of the cold case.
So maybe somebody who knows something about his involvement in the Holloway case will feel safe enough now that he's in jail
That's right.
to speak up. All
That's
right.
what I'd hope for.
You know what surprised me? There's no life sentence and there's no life in prison for murder in Peru. What is the maximum sentence and how does a judge make that decision?
I understand and was surprised to learn that it's 35 years as a maximum for murder. And, putting it aside, a young man his age probably wouldn't get much more even for an intentional murder most places in the States. But it is surprising that's the case and that the stories coming out of Peru suggest that if one confesses, there's generally time taken off the sentence. But I'd like to think that he goes from there to Aruba to serve another sentence and doesn't walk among us again.
Because if he gets out before 35 years, assuming he's convicted, he'll be a relatively young man.
Yes.
Right.
And there clearly seems to be something sociopathic about him, and that if he killed the first time, certainly now the evidence is pretty clear that he may have killed again.
All right, Linda, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, Maggie. Be well.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
A lot happens early on The Early Show, weekday mornings on CBS.